So what we're looking at are expressions involving grouping symbols. Now, the grouping symbols are just the brackets. What we can do is we can leave out the multiplication sign between a number and a bracket, or a grouping symbol, or we can leave it out between a pronumeral and a grouping symbol. So the examples are this. If we have a look here, we've got 3 times m plus 5. That can simply be written as 3 outside of m plus 5. It's that easy. Now, just as previously stated, we have some rules about the way that we write things, and generally speaking, so here where we've got 7 minus b times 9, we could write it as 7 minus b and then the 9 just dropping that multiplication sign. But what we really should do is put the number out the front and then do our 7 minus b. Okay, and on this next one, again, all we're doing is we're taking out that multiplication sign between the pronumeral and the bracket, giving us 2p outside of 3q minus 5m. And on our fourth one, we put our w out the front, so we're going to put the pronumeral out the front. Just like up here, we moved the 9 to the front. We're now moving the w to the front. We put back in our brackets z plus 4. And the reason that we can do that is because we know that multiplication is communicative. So for example, we know that 2 times 3 is equal to 3 times 2. Now here we're doing the reverse. We're just simply adding that multiplication sign in. So if you want to have a go on your own, pause the video now and give that a go. So what we get is 2 multiplied by v plus 5. And here with the a, we get a multiplied by brackets b minus 1. And in the third one, we get 3k multiplied by 2k minus 7m. So you can see very easily that all we're doing is we're inserting that multiplication sign. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to do some substitution using the brackets or the grouping symbols. So first up, what I'm going to do, so here on A, we've got 3 outside of k plus 5. I'm going to rewrite it with that multiplication symbol, just to remind myself what it is exactly that we're finding here. The next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to substitute my value for k in. Now, you'll remember from up here that k is equal to 5. Okay, so here we've got k and that it's equal to 5 as demonstrated up here. So we're just going to swap those out and that will give me 5 plus 5. Now our order of operations tells us that we do what's in our brackets first. So that will give me 5 multiplied by, no sorry, I said that wrong, 3 multiplied by 10, which is 30. Okay, and you can see that that substitution, we've swapped the k out for the 5. Now on the next one, what we've got 4 outside of 3 minus m. So I'm going to rewrite that as 4 times 3 minus m. So we've just inserted that multiplication symbol. Now I'm going to do my substitution. So previously we had k is equal to 5 in green. So I'm going to make my m pink, just so that you can see where that substitution is. So what I have, 4 times 3, take away 6, because we know from up the top there that m is equal to 6. Now as per normal, we're going to do our brackets first, So that will give us 4 multiplied by -3, because 3 take away 6 is equal to -3. Now remembering back to our number work, a positive times by a negative is going to be a negative, and 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so I'm just going to write this next one, only this time I'm not going to use any of the colour coding. I want you to see if you can follow what's going on. So first up, I'm going to write my expression with my multiplication sign. So it gives us 5m times k minus 3. Now, I've actually made a slight error there. Now let's see if anyone picked this up. Because what that's going to give me is 5 multiplied by m multiplied by k minus 3. Now, when I substitute, that's going to give me 5 multiplied by 6 times by, brackets, 5 take away 3. Now, completing the brackets first, we get 5 times 6 times by 2, because 5 take away 3 is equal to 2. And then 5 times 6 is 30. 30 times 2 is 60. The other way that we could have done that was, if I'd have thought about it in a different order, we know that 5 times 2 is 10, and then 10 times 6 is 60. That was just a little bit messy. So from this current slide, what we're going to do, we're actually asked not to do any substitution. We're just asked to write the expression in fraction form. So that's all we need to do here. So what we have, our first component here, the 7 plus 3, this will go in the numerator. So what is on top of the fraction? Now we don't actually have to put any brackets in, because when there's an expression on the top or bottom of a fraction, the brackets are implied. That means that we just assume them to be there. Okay? The second component, the 5, goes in the denominator. So that's our answer here, because all we've been asked to do is to put the division in fraction form, giving us z plus 3 over 5. So have a go at the next two, see how you go, see if you can work it out, and then check your answers. So on part B, what we get is w, because that first component before the division is a w, and then we put the k plus 3 in the denominator. So this section here is in the denominator. And on part C, we have a minus 4, that goes in our numerator. And then we have b plus 9 in the denominator. Okay, so if you weren't sure of any of those, make sure you ask your teacher for help. So here, what we are asked to do, we are asked to do substitutions. We're given values for v. We're told that v is equal to 7 and that w is equal to 4. And so what we're going to do is we're going to substitute for the pronumerals the numbers. So if you see here where we've got v plus 1 over 2, so what we get is 7 plus 1 over 2. And that's because we have this v here, which we change with the number 7, which we got from the values given to us at the top in the question. And what we need to do, we need to remember that there are implied brackets there. So we have to pretend that there's brackets around the 7 plus 1. We need to work that out. So 7 plus 1 is 8, and that gives us 8 over 2, or we can do it as 8 divided by 2, which gives us 4. Now on the next question, we've got that v again, this time it's in the denominator. And so what we end up with is 16 over 7 plus 1. So you can see that we've swapped out or substituted that v with its number equivalent of 7. That's going to give me 16 over 8, or 16 divided by 8, which is 2. Now if you have a look at question C, now we've got both the v in the numerator and we've got the w in the denominator, so we need to substitute out both of those numbers. And that's going to give us 7 take away 13 over 4 plus 2. So if we have a look at that, when we substitute those values, you can see here's the v, and here is the value for the w as stated in the question. Now that's going to give me -6 over 6. Now if we have a negative divided by a positive, we get a negative value, and 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1. So on part D, we're going to do those same substitutions. I'm not going to highlight them this time because I want to see if you can follow that. If you want to, pause the video, have a go at the question, and then move on. So what we get is w is 4, so we get 4 plus 6 divided by or over 12 take away 7. Now we need to work out both those top values and the bottom values. So 4 plus 6 gives us 10, and 10 over 5, because 12 take away 7 is 5. And we know that 10 divided by 5 is equal